It's Monday, January 1st, 2024. I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I feel blessed to be here. We made it through another year. 2023 was not a great year by any stretch of the imagination, but we made it. We persevered. We learned a lot from it. I think it woke up a lot of people to start preparing. And I feel very blessed. I give God all the thanks and glory for allowing myself and my family to be here in 2024. And I hope that you're giving God all thanks today too, for blessing you and allowing you another day of life and getting through 2023. And, you know, as we start the new year, as I've said many, many times throughout 2023, 2024 is going to be a barn burner. We are going to see some, I think, amazing events take place. And I'm going to share a few articles with you today, go over the news. Feel free to comment down below about anything you want to comment on. If you want to comment on any of these articles or any of my opinions, please do so. We'd love to hear your opinion. But I was watching this video today, and this might be off topic a little bit to some people, but, you know, we talk pretty much 80–90% economics, finances, but 10–20% of what's happening socially, right? Because we have got to be, and we're going to talk more about what's happening socially, because what's happening socially, the social decay, the social destruction we're seeing in America, social violence, it's going to affect more and more people, quite possibly you. You may have already been affected by what's happening socially. If you own a business, maybe you've been robbed, shoplifting. You know, you got to be careful blowing your horn today. People are very confrontational. They're angry. They're very high strung. They're violent. Our sheriff here, Sheriff Bianco, said that, you know, people are willing to get into a gun battle, a gunfight over a ticket. I mean, they're willing to go all in and fight you for a ticket. He says that we've never seen anything like this before. And this is what's happening right now across this country to our society, that people are willing now to take human life or get into a gun battle over just the most simple thing. But this article and this video I was watching today, watch Ian Ziering get into brawl with biker gang in Los Angeles on New Year's Eve. Now, this isn't the kind of bikers gang, Hells Angels, Mongols. No, this is a bunch of weirdos riding around Hollywood on mini bikes. This is the lawlessness now that is taking place in our major cities, where, you know, these people ride around on dirt bikes, no license plates, no insurance. They ride around on mini bikes right on public roads like Hollywood Boulevard, riding mini bikes, no license plates, no insurance, riding mini bikes, a pack of mini bikes riding down Hollywood Boulevard. So from what I saw, from what I've read in the article, apparently one of these mini bikers hit Ian Ziering. If you know who Ian Ziering is, he's the blonde-haired kid that used to play in Beverly Hills 90210. And I have nothing bad to say about Ian Ziering. In fact, many years ago, I thought he was probably, in my opinion, one of the standouts of the show. I thought he was a good actor. I thought he had, you know, good, just a good demeanor about him. And you never really hear anything bad about the guy. But watching this video, you can Google it, Ian Ziering, biker fight. It's on TMZ, Beverly Hills 90210 biker fight. You can find this easily on YouTube. But watching this take place was a little disturbing. And I'll tell you why. Again, we are talking about a social breakdown taking place in America. And I don't want this channel just to be talking every day about how bad the economy is, okay? Too many people every day about how bad the economy is. We get it, I know, and I'm going to keep reporting that. But we also need to be talking about solutions, and we also especially need to be talking about preparations for what's coming socially. You've been watching this take place for years now with the crime wave in America. It's affecting every part of this country, and you need to be preparing for this, because just like the economic disaster that is affecting many of you right now, or is going to, the social disruption in America, the social decay, is going to affect a lot of people. It's affecting a lot of us right now. But Ziering, again, known for Beverly Hills 90210, Sharknado, and the Swamp Thing. Got into an altercation yesterday, and I'm going to break this down a little bit. He is very, very lucky. Let me put it that way. He is very, very lucky. This could have gotten really, really bad really fast. So apparently somebody bumped his Mercedes. That's what was said in the article. He gets out of the car, confronts one of the mini bikers, and he throws a shot at one of them, takes a swing, and they get into a bit of a wrestling match. And he wrestles one of the guys down. They get back up, and now, okay, this is why we always talk about knowing your environment, situational awareness. You know, 5 more of these mini bikers show up. One of them, a woman. So now it's 5 or 6 against 1, and they begin to pummel him. And he is now in defensive mode, trying to get away. At the whole time, his daughter is in the car while this is happening. Bad mistake. Number 1, he's completely outnumbered. 2, he should have just stayed in his car. He's much safer in the car, just avoided the situation and drove off. He didn't. And now he's out of the car, 5 against 1, 6 against 1, whatever the number was. Daughter's in the car. I mean, you got to think about this. Like, you've got a kid. You got one of your kids in the car. It's not worth it. He's out of the vehicle, and now it's 5 against 1, 6 against 1, and he starts taking a couple shots to the face, and he's trying to get away now. He's trying to get away from the vehicle. He crosses Hollywood Boulevard, and they're going after him like a pack of wolves, throwing blows. They're grabbing his clothes, literally ripped the sweater, almost pulled the sweater right off of his back, and he is just trying to get away. Now he's on the sidewalk of Hollywood Boulevard. And here's the thing. People are just standing there watching a guy, probably have no idea who this guy is, but they're watching a guy get out of his Mercedes now, fighting 6 people, okay? Nobody's coming to his aid. You know what they all do? They just film it. They're filming this. Nobody's coming to break it up. Nobody's coming to his aid. None of this. And so he tries, at this point, he like turns and he like tries to kick one of them, throws some really bad punches. And so, you know, if Ian Ziering is watching this video, I highly recommend, you're pretty, I'm sure, well-off gentleman. I would invest in some training. The punches were terrible. The ground game was terrible. Just the whole mindset of this was terrible. You should have just avoided it, number 1. But if you're going to engage like this and you're going all in, you better have some skills. And he had 0 skills. So, you know, as they're chasing him now, he's resorting back to his training, which is basically nothing. Just bad punches, a weak kick. And, you know, he could have really got hurt. And what's really bad here is his daughter was left in the car. And what could have happened there with a group like this who is really worked up now? They could have turned and went after his daughter, and they could have, you know, really done some damage to her. So, you know, when I watch this, it just really makes me think, and it should make all of you think too. And if you get a minute, check this video out, because it really makes you think. He should have never, ever gotten out of the vehicle, but he did. At this point, he had no training. He resorted back to his training, which was no training, and he really could have got hurt. And he took some shots. But this is society today. The lawlessness of people riding mini bikes down Hollywood Boulevard, engaging in physical confrontation, and, you know, where's the police? No police, nobody, no bystanders there to help. So, you know, again, it's just another example of the decay of society and the social breakdown that we are witnessing take place on a daily basis. But shocking to see this happen. Ian, please get some training. If you're gonna, you know, if you're gonna get into confrontations, if once you come to that conclusion that and make that decision that you're gonna get out of the vehicle and you're gonna confront somebody, you better have some skills. And he apparently had no skills. And he's lucky, not just for himself, but he's lucky that nothing happened to his daughter. So Ian, make some better choices, think a little bit better, get some training. Second one today that I want to talk really quick regarding this social decay that we're seeing. North Carolina off-duty cop killed while trying to stop crime at gas station. This happened yesterday. He approached some suspects that were committing, it says, some crime, some sort of crime in this gas station, and they took his life. And this is just another reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that you really, really got to be aware of your surroundings. You know, if you carry, you should be carrying every day, and you should be extremely proficient with those tools, whether at your house or out and about in public. You must be proficient. It is a perishable skill. You must be training. And I must remind every one of you, and I'm gonna just pound this into everybody's head every day. This is not just an economic crisis that we are heading into. This is a social collapse, okay? You're going to watch society continue to collapse. Yesterday I spoke about Mr. Gerardo, the 67-year-old man who was beaten by two very, very demonic people. This gentleman having dementia and Alzheimer's, and got his cheekbone broken, brain damage, and weighing 95 pounds, while these other two creatures, you know, were well over 200 pounds. One of them probably 250, 260. So, you know, this is what you're dealing with. So remember, you know, make sure that if you don't want to do it for yourself, make sure that you at least do it to protect your wife or your kids. They at least deserve you to be the protector. Here's one from the Daily Mail. Rude awakening, 4.1 magnitude earthquake strikes Los Angeles on New Year's Day. Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. 4.1 today. It was felt. I didn't feel it, but people in San Bernardino, about half hour, 45 minutes from here, felt it. Mission Viejo, Catalina Island, Temecula, that's, you know, towards San Diego. So 4.1 to start out the new year. Is it telling us something? Is God going to do some things this year? I don't know. But when you read this one coming from CNN, you've probably been watching this all day on the news. Massive earthquake hits Western Japan, triggering tsunami warnings. I guess they've lowered those warnings, but a 7.6 magnitude earthquake in Western Japan. And I was watching some of the video clips of this. Very, very scary. Buildings completely leveled. They don't know how many people are buried right now underneath the rubble. There's a few reported deaths right now, but there's a lot of people missing, and they don't know how many people are dead or how many people are missing. But just watching the aftermath, how many buildings just flat out looking like pancakes, people in buildings, watching these buildings shake. It's pretty scary. But a 7.6, that is a heavy duty earthquake. And this is what set off Fukushima many years ago, was a large earthquake. So is God trying to warn us of something? Is God trying to wake up the world? So earthquake in Los Angeles, earthquake in Japan, war escalating all over the Middle East. And I don't think that things are going to cool down anytime soon. Here's one from Yahoo Finance. More big companies set to collapse in 2024. Industry expert warns. So it says here, high borrowing costs and pressure on consumer budgets will be a double whammy, without a doubt. You know, at some point, ladies and gentlemen, you can only have so many credit cards. You can only have so many personal loans. You can only have so many buy now, pay laters. The question is, how are people going to make these payments? How are they going to pay all this back? You just look at the amount that people are paying in mortgage, rent, car loans, car insurance, other services, phone bills, medical, health insurance, auto insurance. It's just bill after bill after bill. And again, it's just like a death, like, you know, death by 1,000 cuts. You know, people cannot sustain this, and many are not right now. They are so far in the red. And you just think, how many people are ever going to be able to retire in this country? They're going to be working until they're 90 years old. We're going to see more problems in hospitality and retail, according to the article. In 2024, we're going to see more and more insolvencies. In 2023, 17% of insolvencies came from the hospitality sector, 14% from the retail sector. The impact of higher rates will put enormous pressure on companies who need to service debt, and that's going to be probably a majority of companies. And you have to think about, you know, these higher rates and what it's doing to banks, and how many banks in this country, the majority of these banks in the United States, are in big trouble. Think about households. Higher rates, higher mortgage payments. Now, we're being told that maybe as soon as March, the Fed's going to begin to cut rates. What if they don't? I don't really care, because if they do, gold and silver are going to continue to soar, especially gold. And I think silver, I don't make predictions, although in 2023 I did. The one prediction I made was gold would hit an all-time high, and it did. I do make forecasts in 2023. You know, people will write and go, oh, I've been wrong about everything. Tell me what I've been wrong about, please. Debt in this country is now almost $34 trillion. Unfunded liabilities around $200 trillion. We're funding 2 wars, soon to be 3. 43.5 million people on food stamps in America. 62% the official number, the unofficial number about 78% of people living paycheck to paycheck. Household debt at an all-time high. Credit card well over $1 trillion at this point. 25 to 30,000 automobiles a day are being repossessed. We have a country that is severely obese, extremely weak, and very, very sick, that is highly dependent on pharmaceuticals. So somebody please tell me something I said that was not true. And these are just facts. The one prediction I made was I said I believe gold will hit an all-time high, which it did in 2023. Everything else is just factual. And I just said things will continue to get worse, which I think 99% of the people watching this video would agree. Things over 2023 have continued to get worse. We're seeing inflation at literally an all-time high. Is anybody going to disagree with that? Inflation's not going down. Inflation just isn't going up as fast. And of course I said, you know, markets, homes, and most assets are severely overvalued. So, you know, somebody please tell me what I said that was incorrect, because if I did, I will apologize. Next article coming from The Hedge. Incompetence has consequences and other lessons from 2023. This was authored by Ben Shapiro. I'm not a huge fan of Ben Shapiro, but you know, it's a pretty decent article. And just to kind of go over some of his points here, he says a lot of people do not think like we do, and a failure to recognize the truth of this lesson leads to failures of imagination that in turn lend to suffering and death. Second lesson here, the next generation is in serious moral peril. Third lesson, weakness breeds aggression. Have to agree. And the fourth lesson, he says, incompetence has consequences. So if you get a second, it's not a bad article. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Ben Shapiro, but he's a smart guy, and has said a lot of really good things, so I'm not going to be too judgmental of him. Here's another one from The Hedge. 2024, where does the pendulum swing? Comment down below. Where does the pendulum swing? It's going to swing towards conflict, instability, and state failure. And I think it's going to swing in many other areas too. But if you think that the pendulum is going to swing to peace, think again, ladies and gentlemen. The writing is on the wall. We see the escalation globally with war after war after war. And we see things escalating here in America. It's a very divided country. And we're even seeing war breaking out down at our border, right here at the border of Arizona and Mexico, with just yesterday, the Mexican military fighting with one of the cartels. And it looked like something out of the Middle East, literally steps away from the Arizona border. So war is breaking out literally everywhere. And the war that you really have to be concerned about is the war right here in America. We're very, very divided, and we are very, very susceptible to some very, very aggressive tactics taking place right here in this country. And I truly want every one of you to be taking action right now and preparing for an event that if something were to happen here in America, it could be a grid, could be a cyber attack, it could be something much, much worse that could take place right here. You have to remember, there are people here right now that are very, very bad actors who have very, very bad intentions. And so if things begin to unravel, you need to protect yourself, your family, your assets. And just sitting on the couch all day, believing that a pill is going to make you a better, stronger, more physically in shape person, it's not going to do that. You need to get off the couch today. You need to begin preparing, whether it's food, water, assets, putting cash away, training, having skills, absorbing knowledge, things of this nature. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for your family, do it for your kids. It just takes one bad day. One event can change the entire world. We're going to see events that take place, in my opinion, this year that are going to have global impact. That, you know, something could happen in another country that could impact America, or something will happen here that is going to impact the rest of the world. You have to be preparing for it. Nobody is going to come to your rescue. And I think after what we've seen take place the last couple of years in this country, I think, again, 99% of you understand and realize that nobody is coming to save you. Ian Ziering being pummeled on Hollywood Boulevard, ask him how many people came to save him. Nobody. When people get hungry, when they get desperate, they're going to go in panic mode. Nobody is coming to save you, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be the opposite. People are going to come to you to try and take what you have. And if you cannot protect it, you're going to be in very, very big trouble. And what happens to your family? That's the thing you got to think about. You know, what happens to your family if somebody takes those calories, takes that food, that water? Then how does your family survive? And I know a lot of people, again, just don't think anything can happen because, well, we're here in America, nothing can happen to America. That is really, in my opinion, very ignorant thinking. Just because we're in America, nothing bad can happen. Ignorant thinking. This is 2024 now, ladies and gentlemen. The world is changing. The rest of the world has crazy technology, crazy weapons. They've got people here now that at the press of a button, they're ready to go. And then on top of that, you got to deal with the psychopaths that live right here in America from this country, who are, you know, not being punished. And we're watching a lawless country where you're on your own and the criminal literally gets rewarded. So don't look for help, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to have to look yourself in the mirror and ask right now what you can do, you know, to be a better protector financially, spiritually, physically to your family. And these are the things we need to be doing right now. This is the first day of the year. Everybody can do a little something. You go to the store today, you can go buy 10, 20, 30, 50 cans of food. You can go buy a couple gallons of water, put it away. Start thinking, you know, man, if I take 20, 30, 50, or $100 a week and just start stockpiling some food and water, a little bit of cash, a little bit. I think silver's going to have a nice year. I think that silver is probably the cheapest asset on planet Earth right now. And, you know, what are we at, $25 an ounce? You know, what about buying 2 ounces of silver a week? There's always something we can be doing. And, you know, I don't have all the solutions. And I don't sit here to pretend to have all the solutions. I make these videos so that all of you think outside of the box. Many of you are much, much more intelligent than myself. Many of you are more prepared than myself. Many of you are much tougher than I am. Many of you are more proficient in your training than I am. But every day I'm trying to do a little bit, and just be as well-rounded as I can be. And I think that what everybody has to do, whether you're completely prepared or not, we've got to continue thinking, what can we do to get better, to be more prepared? Because I don't think anybody's 100% prepared. Because I don't think that we can really prepare for something that we have never seen before. You know, it's easy to say, well, this will happen, that'll happen. We don't really know, like, how it all plays out, what we're going to face. And people who've never been in a fight before, people who've never encountered danger, people who've never really been stressed out, things are going to happen to them, and they're not going to know what to do. They're going to go back to the training, and that means they're going to go back to nothing. And how can you react to something when you're not prepared for it? And so be as proactive as possible. This is the time to be, you know, dealing with some confrontation, learning to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Get yourself uncomfortable. You know, that's why I do jiu-jitsu. You know, when somebody is trying to, you know, rip your arm off or submit you, with pain or cutting off your breathing, you learn to eventually not panic, and you learn to think under pressure and stress. Okay, calm down. What do I do to get out of this? Sometimes you can get out of it, and sometimes you can't. So you learn to like not ever get in that position again. You try to avoid those bad places, because then if you have to get into a bad place, you're going to have to deal with some very uncomfortable situations, and sometimes you get out, sometimes you don't. But the best way to win is not to get in those places, in those bad positions, to where somebody can choke you out, to where somebody can break your arm or dislocate your shoulder. So you learn to avoid these positions, and sometimes they're unavoidable, and you got to deal with the pain. You got to face it, and you got to learn how to get out of it. But get yourself in uncomfortable situations right now so you can deal with them down the road. You know, when somebody is choking you and you haven't breathed in a few seconds, most people panic. But if you train and train and train, you learn not to panic. You deal with it and you get out. And it's, you know, it's the same thing in life. You're going to have to deal with some uncomfortable challenges that are coming. Many of you already have. But think about the lights going out, food shortages, violence, chaos. What are people going to do who have not been training, who have not been mentally preparing for this? And no matter how much you train and prepare for it, it's still going to be a shock to the system. But it's going to be a lot more of a shock to the system, to the average person who isn't fighting, who isn't at the range training, who isn't at the gym getting stronger. I watched Mike Glover last night, the Special Forces guy, retired. And he made a really, really good point. You know, it's good to be at the gym. It's good to be getting stronger. But what you really need is technique. You need technique. You know, being strong is one thing. Looking, you know, in great shape is one thing. But having technique is what's going to save your life. That's what wins fights. I don't want to sit here and rant about, you know, jiu-jitsu and things like that. But prepare yourself right now to get uncomfortable. Prepare yourself and put some stress in your training right now. And I think that if you do that, you're going to be much, much more prepared than the average individual out there. I cannot stress that enough. People have gotten too soft, they've gotten too lazy, they've gotten too out of shape. And at the end of the day, like Ian Ziering, people resort back to the training, which is nothing. And that's how you lose. You lose fights, people lose their lives, people lose their assets. Train, ladies and gentlemen, across the board, at the range, on the mats, at the gym, and spiritually. Number one, spiritually. Walk close to God. Have a wonderful day. God bless all of you. God bless America. Please like, share, and subscribe. I feel really blessed to be here today in 2024. I think this is going to be a historic, epic, biblical year. I feel actually a little excited about 2024. It's going to be a very, very interesting year, to say the least. And I'm going to continue to prepare for it. I pray to God nothing bad happens. I pray that these wars diffuse, and I just pray that the country comes together and things just calm down. But I'm a realist just like you. And in the event that things don't calm down in America, which I don't think they're going to, I will be ready the best that I can be, and I pray that you will be ready the best that you can be, because at the end of the day, it's going to be all of us, the people who've been preparing, people who have been training, the people who've been commenting down below, the people who've been that have been creating circles and surrounding themselves with the right-minded people. We're all going to come together. We may need, I don't know you personally, some of you, but at some point we may cross paths. We may have to help one another. Somebody may have to just pick up and go help some people, and vice versa. Somebody may come help me. I may have to go help some people. That's what having this great circle means. And I've read the comments. There are people right now that I know that would jump in their car if I needed help, and I've never met them before, and they would come help me. And I want to thank all those people for that, because many of you written me and said, if you need us, we're there. And I really appreciate that. And I've had so many people reach out, and I want to thank all of you. And this is a great community, and this is a community that we got to stop, you know, tearing other people down and judging, and we've got to just keep supporting one another, building one another up. I want everybody to win, ladies and gentlemen, financially. I want you to win spiritually, physically, every which way. And the stronger we are together, we're much more unstoppable, and the country is way better off. But you never know who you don't know that may come help you. We may all cross paths at some point, you know, in the next year or 2 or 3. So I want to thank everybody for that. Keep the comments coming down below. I'm going to leave it there. I know I'm ranting here. It's 2024, beautiful sunny day here in Southern California. It's peaceful. But how long before things aren't so peaceful here in America? Stay safe. God bless.